Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. I want to send double honor to my elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth and who were well, as well as the bishops and the elders that are teaching the sincerity and the truth. Much love to the scattered elect and to the few sincere women that subscribe to the true doctrine. This is the brother you call a month with the Great Millstone Camp, the branch out here in Omaha, Nebraska, coming back with another lesson, Lord willing, to feed and to edify the lost sheep of the nation of Israel through the Holy Spirit, Rakah HaKodash. And the Israelites consist of the so-called Negroes, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Americans, which are the true children of Israel, according to the seed of your father, no matter what you may look like. And I wanted to get into this topic of, there's a video that I was looking at earlier, where it was this, this woman who appears to be an Edomite speaking about, the Israelites here being radical, okay? And this is just another word that's used in a bad light. All right, now, just to clear it up, we don't go around calling ourselves radical, though when you go into the word radical, it's not a negative word, right? So usually when you hear the word radical, it's tied to, to being like violent or being overly aggressive, okay, or being in a vigilante state of type of mind, okay. Which this is why our elders and apostles, they always push going into words. They always push looking things up, because these things, when you look up these words, it gives so much more clarity to things, and it gives us a better understanding of what we're reading and what we're a part of, okay? So that's what I'll do. I'll get into this word radical. I'll get a few precepts, and Lord willing, this is edifying. We have to clear the air on these words. All right, so when you get into the word radical, right? The word radical, excuse me, the screen's a little greasy. But you look at this word radical, right? So it says, from late 14th century, originating in the root or ground of body parts or fluids vital to life. From Latin, radicalis, of or having roots, or root. The basic sense of the word in all meanings is pertaining or relating to a root or roots, right? And that's exactly what we do. We came back to our roots, okay? And what we're doing, we're just teaching the truth about what our roots are, okay? How we've been told for hundreds of years that we're black people. We've been told for hundreds of years that we're spics, that we're wetbacks, that we're all these different type of bywords, which the Lord did say this was going to happen according to the curses, okay? I'll get that, to start with. The Lord did say that was going to happen, but we were going to return to our roots, okay? We're going to return to our heritage. I'm going to actually pull that one up too. Let's pull that up first. Get that on the line. I tend to be all over the place, so I want to make sure I got these precepts. All right. Let me see. Yep, it's Jeremiah. But I want to start here in the books of the Lord, okay, where it speaks about us being a byword. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 37. It says, "And thou shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord Yahweh shall lead thee." And if you know about the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, this is the book where not only did it speak about the blessings that will come upon us if we obey the words of the Heavenly Father Yahweh, whom this world ignorantly calls God, but it also gave us from Deuteronomy 28 verse 16 on down the curses that will come upon the so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans if we did not obey his words, okay? And that's hence the words that I was referencing. This is what we have been called. But really, we are truly the so-called Negroes, the so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans, all right? Which consists of Reuben, Gad, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Naphtali, Zebulun, Asher. All right, what am I missing? because there's 12 tribes. You know, just to give the reference of those on down to the rest of the 12 tribes of Israel. This is who we are. These are our true biblical names, okay, by tribe. But we lost that because we know this is why. In the book of Jeremiah 17 and verse 4, it says, "And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee." And I will, yeah, the heritage that he gave us. Now, what is a heritage? Okay. When you get into this word heritage, it's Strong's H 5159. It looks like Nahala, which says possession, property, inheritance, heritage, property, portion, share, inheritance, portion, which are these different names that were given unto us. That's one. Okay. The land of Israel, that was given unto us, in which those people over here in that land, those are not the true Israelites, man. Those are not the true children of the Most High. Okay? So it says we were going to discontinue. And what's another part of the possession? The law, statutes, and commandments. That was given straight unto the nation of Israel. And you look around and you look at those particular people being the true Israelites, they're not following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. That's why it says, "Thou shalt discontinue from what it says, from your possession, from your portion." Okay, Psalms 147 chapter told us that He had not dealt so with any nation. This is why we've been getting beat down so much, because the Most High loved us. He had to show us, like, look, man, I'm pissed off with you. So now I'm gonna give you into the hand of the individuals that hate thee. Okay, it says, "And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies." Finishing Jeremiah 17 verse 4, it says, "And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever." All right, and that forever is really just talking about a period of time. Okay, because the Most High said He will not keep His anger forever. This is why we have to understand what we're reading. The Most High, He now though it says that we have kindled a fire in His anger, which shall burn forever. It told us, let's get that. Let's prove that. Okay, so now let me see. Let me do a Google search. Okay. Maybe I'm wording it wrong. Keep His anger forever. It may be in the Apocrypha, but we're gonna see. Nope, it's not. So I wasn't typing it in correctly. So this is the book of Psalms, chapter 103 and verse 9. Okay. Matter of fact, let's go to 7. This is a good chapter. I'm gonna have to get into this entire chapter, but we're gonna start at verse 7. This is Psalms 103 verse 7. It says, "He made known His ways unto Moses, His acts unto the children of Israel." Man, see, call Allah Yahabashim Shai, because that's another proof that the things that are pleasing unto the Most High were made known unto us. All right, the Most High's ways were made known unto the children of Israel. Right? It says, "The Lord Yahweh," which is in all caps, "is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, plenteous in mercy. He will not always chide, neither will He keep His anger forever." All right. So just to get the proof that He said that He wasn't going to keep His anger forever. He's angry with the nation of Israel for a moment, but there will be a judgment that comes upon the 2/3 of the nation of Israel. Best believe that. Right, and it says that in the book of Zechariah, the 13th chapter, where it says that 2/3 of the people shall be put to death, man. Okay, the 2/3 of the people of Israel, 2 parts therein. Okay, so now we prove that now, but what does it say here? And you gotta understand. People look at us. Let's get this in the book of Wisdom of Solomon. They look at us like we ain't the people of the Most High, because look at the position that we're in. We strung out. Now, Esau, Edom is too. We're going to focus on our people. You know, you got our people, the Israelites, are strung out on drugs, okay? They're heavily being oppressed, all right? It's hard for a lot of people to find jobs, okay? You know, it's hard for us to get ahead because this ain't our kingdom. Our kingdom that we're going to be a part of and that we're going to be, you know, we're going to be happy in and be able to rest in is going to be the kingdom of heaven, which we ain't got to yet. You know, this ain't like what Wyclef said. This ain't the kingdom of heaven, where the streets is paved with gold. You know, these streets is paved with concrete, rubble, and graham cracker crust, man. All right, soon to be destroyed, soon to fall, soon to crumble. All right, but it says, let's see. Yep, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon 3. In verse 1, it says, but the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them, which that's specifically speaking of the elect. All right. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die. This ain't what I wanted. I'll finish it. But I'll actually go to one I wanted in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. It says, in the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery, and they're going away from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. You know, and you do have, you know, these Israelites out here that think they're solely relying on Esau, Edom. These are the ones who Yahweh Shema Shai is not dealing with. Okay? The elect, we understand the times that we're in and the times to come. We understand that there's Jacob's trouble that's right around the corner. We understand that we're going to be the last hire, first fire. We understand all these things. Okay? We understand that things ain't going to be fair. 2/3 of our people, this is why we believe, I'll say this is why I believe, you know, I'm sure brothers out there will concur, but I'll speak at least on my behalf, that 2/3 of these people, they're so reliant on Esau, Edom, that when that micro C hip, spoken of in Revelation 13, verse 16 on down, when that comes to pass, they're going to flock to him, especially the end of. Okay? And guess what? That's part of the curses too, because it says thou shalt go to thy enemy for one of all things. Okay, but there's going to be a time when we break away from that. Those who the Most High have, you know, he had put understanding and wisdom in. Okay, but let's get to the actual precept that I wanted. Yeah, here we go. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and verse 4, and this is what I was looking for. It says, we fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot is among the saints? This is how we're perceived as a nation of people. Not only the elect, but as a nation of people, this is how we're perceived in the eyes of our enemies. Who the hell is these people? Them is God people? Okay? Because it spoke about in this chapter the strangeness of our salvation, which are the chariots of the Lord, which they call UFOs. But guess what? The Most High, he has favor on his people. This is why we're in this day and age. Let's get into it. It says that in the land of our captivities, because that's what I want to get into, the flip side of, because, you know, getting to radical again is going to the roots. You know, let's get matter of fact, let's get the next paragraph. The very first sentence is very very powerful. It says, back in the etymology for radical, the figurative meaning, going to the origin, essential, going to the origin. Okay, we're not originally black people. We're not originally Mexicans. We're not originally Native Americans. We are Gadites, or Native American Indians. We are Hispanics, so-called Hispanics, and we are so-called black. Okay, this is who we are, and we're going back into the roots of it. And you hear a lot of brothers, you know, different elders as well, going into these books of like Israelite customs. Okay, just going into different books, showing you our heritage, showing you who we truly are. All right. So now, let's get into this. In the book of Baruch, chapter 4. Oh man, you can't. The scriptures are life to us, man. All right. This is another part of us going back to the origin. There's a precept. You know, where you had the men of the Lord, where you had men where they had went into, I believe they went into like a temple and they found the books of the law, and they you know, they were pulling their hair out and ripping their garments, just like, damn man, we've been tripping this whole time. You know, I gotta find that, and I'll grab that next. You know, because that's very important, because that's how we were. Okay, we was living wrong all our lives up into this. We were introduced into this word, man. All right. It says they rent their garments, I believe. Matter of fact, book of the law. Yep. Call all like Habashima Shai. I found it. But let's get this in Baruch, the 4th chapter, and then we'll get that the next precept. This is Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, "This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life." Okay, but such as leave it shall die. And our people are spiritually dead, as it says in the book of Revelation. And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Now, dead bodies wasn't talking about actual dead bodies, but it's talking about Israelites. They're spiritually dead. They can't comprehend, you know. Hence the walking dead, you know. This is what our people are. The walking dead, man. All right. But it says, "Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it." Jacob is another name for Israel. Okay, before Israel name was turned, before Israel was Israel, his name was Jacob. All right. When he strolled with the angel, his name was changed. He was changed from Jacob, which in the Hebrew is Jaquab, which means supplanter. And once he wrestled with the angel told him, "Hey, your name is no longer Jacob, but Israel." And Israel in the Hebrew is Yashar Allah, which is Prince of the Power. Okay, so this is talking about that same man, all right, where the 12 tribes came from. It says, "Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated." Because we are the true illuminated, because you have the Illuminati, you know, which the Illuminati or illuminated means light bearer. Okay, and what light do we bear? The scriptures. All right. It says, "Give honor, give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. O Israel, happy are we, for the things that are pleasing unto us, for the things that are pleasing to the Most High," excuse me, slip of the tongue, "for the things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us." Okay. This is why we're able to comprehend. This is why you see Jake on the four corners of the earth teaching, coming out there in garments, holding Bibles, all right, setting up cameras, going live, kicking this truth, chanting down Babylon the Great. This is why you see the Elder Yashawamba, and there was a live sit down that they did as a camp. I believe it was yesterday, and he said something very, very pinnacle. He said that this truth is a terror to Esau. This is why they're trying to set up different laws to get us out off of the corner. They're eventually going to ban street teaching, because with this truth, too much information came out. All right, you got Israel all over the place starting to realize who they are, and they're waking up. And that's actually what I meant to get in Baruch 2. Then we're gonna get that next precept, and then I'll close it down after that. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 2, and verse 30. It says, "For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff neck." Let's go to 29. Baruch 2:29. It says, "If you will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them." And I had to get that, showing that we're scattered as a nation. Most High said he was going to disperse us amongst the nation, because why? We disobeyed. Okay? And now we're in the hands of those that hate us. Right? But what does it say? "For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, hard-headed." right? But in the land of their captivities, plural, they shall remember themselves. And that's us going back to the roots, going back to our origin, okay? So we know, once again, we don't walk around and saying, I'm a radical Israelite, I'm a radical, no. But we understand what radical means, okay? We call ourselves the true children of Israel because in a radical sense, we know who we are now, okay? This is how Esau Edom's going to try to tie us to terror. One way he's going to try to tie us to terror. All right, so now let's get this precept and close it down after this, if the Spirit permits. This is 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 22. It says, and Hilkiah the high priest said unto Shaphan the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Lord Yahweh. And Hilkiah gave the book to Shaphan, and he read it. And Shaphan the scribe came to the king and brought the king word again, and said, thy servants have gathered the money that was found in the house, and have delivered it into the hand of them that do the work. They have the oversight of the house of the Lord, which were the Levites. Okay. It says, and Shaphan the scribe shewed the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest had delivered me a book. And Shaphan read it before the king. And it came to pass, when the king had heard the words of the book of the law, that he rent his clothes. And the king commanded Hilkiah the priest, and Ahikam the son of Shaphan, and Achbor the son of Micaiah, and Shaphan the scribe, and Asahiah a servant of the king's, saying, go ye, inquire of the Lord Yahweh for me, and for the people, and for all Judah concerning the words of this book that is found. For great is the wrath of the Lord Yahweh that is kindled against us, because our fathers have not hearkened unto the words of this book, to do according to all the things which is written concerning us. You see that? They found a book. They felt some type of way. The king rent his clothes and said, man, go tell them, man. These words, this got something to do with us. We ain't been doing it right. So what was he doing? In a sense, he was blowing the trumpet. Like, hey man, you gotta read this. You gotta read this to Jake, man. And this is the same thing that we do. We blow the trumpet. We read the words of this book. We go through the heritage, that we may know who we are. Come to our origin again, man. So you Edomites, you simple ass and niggas, you scoffers out there, you're gonna eat your words, man. Best believe you're gonna eat your words, and Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai is gonna make you swallow down those words. Every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. Okay? So once again, I'm gonna close it out, but we don't go around saying, oh, we're radical, but we understand that this, we have a don't want to say, we have a radical state of mind. We ain't out here terrorizing nobody. We ain't out here choking out vocab Malone. We ain't out here doing nothing to these heathens. Because the scriptures told us to, if that's possible, live peaceably upon men. Live peaceably among all men. Wait until I rise up to the prey. Be as wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So we just teach this word, teach our origins, and we keep it pushing, because the Lord is He's gonna put forth that judgment, man. We ain't got to do nothing. All right, until it's time for until the Most High puts His Spirit on His men in the time of Jacob's trouble, to get hands on these Edomites, man, and these heathen nations. But we ain't walking around doing nothing to nobody. You don't see us walking around doing nothing to nobody. And if you do see someone who calls himself an Israelite walking around doing things to somebody, they're on their own. The Most High ain't told us to do that. All right. So with that being said, I pray that was edifying. And I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Much love to the bishops, the elders, and you sincere brothers out there teaching this truth. Shalom.